Coming up on this week's edition of Speed Chronicles, made-up stories.
Zig Media presents
Speed Chronicles with Todd Lewis.
Powered by Rev TV.
Thanks for coming back. Thanks for checking out this week's episode of Speed Chronicles. We do it every Wednesday. You'll find it on your favorite podcast platform. You'll find it on the Rev TV YouTube channel. We ask that you also please hit that like and subscribe button. Yes, please feel free as well. Share it on the social channels as well. Lots to get into this week. I want to talk a bit about the racing from last weekend, but also some other stuff that has kind of intrigued me, got me a little interested. And one of the made up stories that I stumbled upon this past week is IndyCar and the potential for new events. Now, I guess it's not really a made up story, but it's the same sort of recycled stuff that I don't know if they just hit the button every 60 or 90 days. And I find some story about this that, IndyCar is open to the idea of new events. As usual, what I saw was a complete nothing burger last week. It's a manufactured story. We really want to get back to the Northeast. Well, no kidding. There's no secret in that. They would like to have another event in the Northeast. And then, of course, there's the obligatory mention and the pie in the sky idea of, we should have these big international events. We're not going to do it, though, unless we get a big sanctioning fee. Well, no kidding, because it's going to cost an awful lot of money. That's why. An update on what's happening in Mexico? There were talks and nothing happened this year. And I don't really see anything happening for next year, but we're open to the idea. And the one that's also found its way out over the last little while is, what about Brazil? Brazil. Yeah. Okay. Tell me something when you've got something. Why don't they go back to Richmond? I don't know. Maybe somebody's got to want them there, and maybe somebody's got to be willing to pay them to go there. Denver, I will say, is actually on the stove. It's not on the front burner. I don't think we're going to see anything until 2028. Denver is something that has been discussed previously. There's the suggestion that it run around the stadium in Denver where the Broncos play. Now, if you're going to do that, okay, but you better have a plan for more than just 1 year, because that stadium's going to get replaced in the not too distant future. And we don't want another situation like we had in Nashville, where the stadium situation impacted the race. But right now, nothing happening in terms of significant developments. And that's okay. We just don't need to recycle the same story over and over again, do we? A couple of things from this past weekend. The revised single car qualifying that they did at Long Beach. Love it. It's almost perfect now. Actually, the series does it just about right. And I like how they let the teams choose when they go out in the order of those 6. And television coverage of those selections, great. Having the reporters go up and down pit lane, say, when do you want to go out? I think that was awesome. What we need on the television coverage, though, is sector times. They're available on timing and scoring. The commentators obviously have access to them. Let's see them on TV. The ghost car is okay. I think that's better used afterwards to show where time is lost and gained. Sector times, and then we're there. The race itself at Long Beach. That was about the worst looking start that I've seen in a long time, with 5 cars on the front straightaway approaching the starter stand when the green flag came out. Not sure why they let it go, but they did. The race itself, very processional, not great. The buzz, the atmosphere, the crowd, everything about Long Beach is fantastic, but it was a 90-lap parade, basically. Just about everyone played the game, stretched the fuel out, make it a 2-stop race with a little bit of fuel saving. Got to get the 2 red tire segments in. We're missing out on some strategy. It's like they're trying to add some options for strategy by making 2 red alternate tire stints mandatory, when if we get the fuel mileage number right, then that would really create strategy. More on fuel mileage in a minute. Great job by Felix. Did a nice job covering off, ran a good race. Then we had the caution, pit stops, okay. Palou and Ganassi were perfect. And then once the green waved to restart the race and Alex had a lap or 2 under his belt, it had the feeling of inevitability that this is what's going to happen. That's 3 out of 5 now for Palou. I'm interested to see when the talk of how many does he win this season really get going. Also, apparently, IndyCar had another computer glitch with the push to pass. 12 drivers used it when it was supposed to be disabled for that restart. Interesting how many drivers pushed that button on the restart. Now, no one got an advantage. There's not going to be any penalties, and good for them for getting out in front of that with that messaging. I love how all the racers and teams on social media have been saying, wasn't me, wasn't us, none of us did it, we didn't do it. But I'm curious about why so many drivers did it. 12 of them, when they know the rules, it's not supposed to be enabled on that restart. Is it like when you go to an elevator and somebody's already pushed the up or down button and you have to push it again just to see if it goes any faster? I don't know. Or maybe you try it just to see if maybe it works. You never know. Maybe it happens to work. Anyhow, we'll see. The other Long Beach race, of course, is the escape that everyone makes to the airport afterwards to get on the red-eye flights to get back east. Done that before. It's an event in itself. Okay. Also having a great season in terms of winning is Tyler Reddick. Most of the NASCAR Cup race at Kansas wasn't great. Late caution, threw everything up in the air. I still don't care for that. This is the race distance. If we get near the end and they have to throw a caution, I can appreciate wanting to finish under green, but not every race has to or should have to finish under green. Sometimes it's just the way it falls. Bummed for Denny Hamlin. Again, cost him a win. Not as big as the one that it cost him last year. But I don't know. 5 wins for Reddick now. That's outstanding. 5 out of 9 is just absolutely a staggering winning percentage, excuse me. NASCAR is headed to Talladega this week. They have made some changes, flipped the stages to hopefully get away from some of the fuel saving. They've made the first stage at Talladega the longest. Second and third are shorter. They're supposed to be a little less than a full fuel run. They're hoping that drivers don't have to save fuel. I don't know if it's going to really help much or solve the problem. Maybe you could just get rid of the stages and solve the problem. I don't think that would solve it necessarily either. And TV loves stages because it gives them planned commercial breaks. They love the stages, assured, predictable commercial breaks. And again, I don't know if altering the stage length from longest at the beginning, shorter at the end, helps the fuel save situation. I think we need to get into a better fuel mileage situation, make the race length and fuel runs more compatible in terms of drivers being able to go for it. Push as hard as you can and not have to worry so much about fuel mileage. I know that's sort of counterintuitive. I don't think that's the right word, but it's just sort of, we've gotten so far away from that. Racing is about going fast, getting there first, pushing hard. And I think we're starting to get too much emphasis on the fuel mileage and using your energy properly. Also in the made up story category, Formula One, I can't wait for them to get back racing again because of the manufacturer stories is Max is leaving Red Bull. He's leaving Formula One. He's going to Mercedes. He's happy running his sports car. He may not come back. Is there internal competition or conflict at McLaren? Can Lando and Oscar coexist? Will George and Kimi be able to coexist? George is on the way out when Max comes over, blah, blah. It never seems to end. Now, this 5-week break has been part of it. And I understand it wasn't expected. We would normally be talking about racing. So they did have some more meetings and they do have some recommendations and plans going forward to help the competition, make some changes to the technical specifications and operation of the cars that will hopefully prevent the extreme closing rate of the cars that saw Colapinto and Berman have that incredible collision at Japan. Some changes that are hopefully making the qualifying session a little less about harvesting power and more about getting a good, fast lap. So they're looking at that. They're looking at the race starts. I don't know if they're going to work. They won't really know if they're going to work officially until they put them out on track. So again, It's a process. No guarantee that everything's going to be great, everything's going to be wonderful, but there was listening to the drivers and teams and input. They're trying to make changes. Give them credit. One more F1 story, though. Apparently, there is talk of an Ocean's 11 prequel that will be centered around the 1967 Monaco Grand Prix. All right, sure, why not? I'm good with that. A couple of quick NASCAR Canada notes. A little over 3 weeks till the season opener, CTMP. Will LaRue has announced he is coming back. He was a race winner last year. He's not running a full season, but he is going to run more events. Alex Gannett is going to do a full season. I've known about this for a few weeks, and they've made the announcement official now. Alex Tagliani is going to run all the events. He's going to run the road courses with the 80 and Donald Teague, and he's going to run the ovals in the 3 car with Ed Hackinson Racing. That's good. More Alex in the series is good for the series. There was also an announcement that Napa is now a series partner. Again, that's good. Let's see what kind of arrangement this is for both. Could be mutually beneficial. Would like to see some additional Ontario-based teams, but that is tough sledding. It is, I think, still going to be a struggle to get some reasonable car counts at a number of events this year. There might be some additional cars that you wouldn't normally see earlier in the season because of the Markham Indy and the number of entries for that being restricted and points playing a role in how you get in. So some drivers that want to run at Markham may run some additional events earlier in the season to make sure that they're high enough in points that it helps them get into the Markham Indy event. We'll see how it all plays out, but these are things that we're keeping an eye on as we get close to the start for NASCAR Canada. A lot to digest there. If you like the podcast, Speed Chronicles, every Wednesday, hit the like and subscribe button. We'll do it again next Wednesday on your favorite podcast platform and on Rev TV YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Have a great weekend of racing.